You have people in your life. Contacts, acquaintances, people you see regularly, people you would call if you needed something practical, someone to help you move, someone to recommend a doctor, someone to split a bill with. But here is the question that is harder to answer. Who would you call at 2 in the morning when something real happens? Not a logistical problem, something real, something that cracked you open, something you have never said out loud to anyone. Take a moment. Go through the list in your head. For a lot of people watching this right now, that list is shorter than they expected. Maybe one name, maybe half a name. Maybe the honest answer is nobody. And that feeling, that specific quiet loneliness of being surrounded by people and still feeling completely unknown, is one of the most common human experiences on earth, and one of the least talked about, because it comes with shame attached. The assumption that if you do not have close friends, something must be wrong with you, something must be off, something must be missing that other people have. But here is what I want you to hear before anything else. It is not that something is wrong with you. It is that nobody ever told you what closeness actually requires. And today the Stoics are going to tell you. The first real reason you have no close friends. You are performing instead of connecting. This is the one that is hardest to see because it does not feel like performing. It feels like putting your best foot forward. It feels like being likable. It feels like showing people the version of yourself that is easy to be around. But here is what it actually is. A wall. A very pleasant, very likable, very socially acceptable wall. Every time you answer fine when you are not fine, you build it a little higher. Every time you laugh something off that actually hurt you, add another brick. Every time you present the edited version of yourself, the version without the uncertainty and the fear and the things you are not proud of, you make genuine connection a little less possible. Because here is the truth about how closeness actually works. It does not come from being impressive. It does not come from being entertaining. It does not come from being the most interesting version of yourself in every single conversation. It comes from being seen. And you cannot be seen while you are performing. You can only be admired, and admiration feels warm from a distance. But it is the loneliest thing in the world up close. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." That applies to the self you present, the curated version, the one that never struggles, the one that always has it together. Because maintaining that version costs you the only thing that makes real friendship possible, the truth about who you actually are. The second real reason. You have confused being liked with being known. These are not the same thing, not even close. And most people spend their entire social lives chasing the first one without ever reaching the second. Being liked is easy, relatively easy. Be agreeable, be entertaining, be present at the right moments. Show up looking like someone worth knowing. People will like you, genuinely. And it will feel like connection. Until the moment something real happens in your life and you look around for someone who actually knows you and you realize that all those people who like you like the version of you they have been given access to, not you, the curated you. The easy to be around you, the you that never made them uncomfortable by being too honest or too vulnerable or too real. Epictetus said, "Seek not the good in external things, seek it in yourself." Most people seek connection in external things too, in the approval, in the laughs, in the group chat that stays active, in the feeling of being included. And all of those things feel like friendship until they do not, until the 3 in the morning moment arrives and you realize that liked and known are two completely different countries. And you have spent years building a life in the wrong one. The third real reason. You stopped showing up consistently. This one is quieter, less dramatic, but it is responsible for more lost friendships than almost anything else. Closeness is not built in big moments. It is built in small, repeated ones. The check-in that had no agenda. The message that said, "I saw this and thought of you." The showing up when it is inconvenient, when you are tired, when you have other things, when there is nothing to gain from being there except the relationship itself. Most people only show up for the events, the birthdays, the celebrations, the moments with a clear social purpose, and between those moments nothing, weeks, sometimes months, and then they wonder why the friendship feels thin, why it never deepened past a certain point, why every conversation starts from the same place it left off because nothing happened in between to move it forward. Seneca wrote, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. But understanding takes time. It takes repeated exposure to someone across different moods and different circumstances and different versions of a single Tuesday. It takes showing up when there is no occasion, just because. The people who have close friends are almost always the people who showed up in the in-between, not just for the highlights, for the ordinary, and the ordinary is where all the closeness actually lives." The fourth real reason. You are terrified of being a burden. This is the one that nobody says out loud, but almost everyone feels. You are going through something real and heavy and consuming, and you do not reach out, not because you do not want to, because something inside you says they have their own problems. They do not need mine on top of theirs. I do not want to be too much. I do not want to seem needy. I do not want to ask for something and have them feel obligated. So you carry it alone. And the person who carries everything alone never gives anyone the opportunity to show up for them. And the friendship that never has the chance to show up never deepens past the surface. Because closeness is built in the moments when one person needs something and another person chooses to give it. That exchange, that specific vulnerable exchange, is the foundation of every close friendship that has ever existed, and you keep skipping it because you decided without asking anyone that you were too much. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, release without struggle, receive without pride." That means accepting help, accepting presence, accepting the discomfort of letting someone see you when you are not okay without immediately remaking yourself into someone who is. The people who have close friends are not the people who never need anything. They are the people who allowed themselves to need something and let someone else be the one who gave it. The fifth real reason. You have not been honest about what you actually want, not to other people, to yourself. Because here is what happens to most people's social life as they get older. They fall into patterns, groups that formed because of circumstance, school, work, a neighborhood, a relationship that brought people together. And they stay in those patterns long past the point where they feel genuine, because changing them feels like too much work, or too much risk, or too much honesty about the fact that the connection they have is not the connection they actually need. And the connection they actually need requires knowing what they are looking for, not in the vague, "I just want good people around me" way. Specifically, what kind of person makes you feel most like yourself? What kind of conversation leaves you feeling full instead of drained? What kind of friendship would actually change the quality of your life if you had it? Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be." Most people have never applied that to friendship. They have never sat down and honestly said, "This is the kind of connection I am actually looking for. This is what I need from the people closest to me. This is the kind of person I want to be for someone else." And without that clarity, you end up in rooms that feel vaguely wrong, with people who are perfectly nice, but somehow do not reach the part of you that needs reaching. Not because they are bad people, because you never got clear on what you were looking for. And clarity is where every close friendship actually begins. The sixth real reason. You have not become someone you would want to be close to. This is the hardest one and the most important, because there is a version of this conversation that is entirely about what other people are not giving you. The world is not vulnerable enough. People are not consistent enough. Nobody reaches out first. Nobody goes deep enough. Nobody shows up the way you need them to. And some of that may be true, but Seneca wrote something that cuts through all of it. He said, if you wish to be loved, love. That is the whole thing. If you wish to be known, be knowable. If you wish to be shown up for, show up. If you wish to receive the kind of friendship where someone calls you at 3 in the morning because something broke, be the person someone calls at 3 in the morning. Not occasionally, consistently, not when it is convenient, when it costs you something. The close friendships you are looking for are not waiting to be found. They are waiting to be built by you, starting with the person in the mirror, who needs to become before they can receive the kind of friendship they have been quietly waiting for all this time. If this said something you have needed to hear for a long time, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe for new wisdom every single week.